I quit my job today. So, if that's not a good hook, I don't know what it is. I started filming the original podcast that I wanted to film today, the one that I teased in the last episode, and I just couldn't. I had to keep restarting, rewording things. I just couldn't get it out. It just didn't feel right. It felt so forced, and it just wasn't what was meant to come out. So that's me taking my sign from the universe that that's not what I meant to talk about today. What I meant to talk about today is what I'm currently experiencing. I quit my job of 10 years today. I put in my notice anyway, so I'm still technically there for another 2 weeks. But there's a lot that goes into that I think a lot of people can relate to or gain from, so I really want to talk about that today. But before I talk about that, I do want to say that whether you believe in psychics or not, or tarot readers, or whatever it may be, the one thing that we all have is intuition. The one thing that we all can't escape is intuition. You can ignore it all you want, but your intuition is your natural born compass in life. And the more that you ignore it, the more off of your path you're going to get, and the more things are going to get challenging for you. Versus the more that you follow it, the more in alignment you're going to get, and the more abundant and happy and peaceful life you're going to live. With that being said, I had a tarot reader tell me a few years ago that this tarot reader connected to my brother on the other side who passed away. Now, I will tell you, I am a skeptic when it comes to mediums. I think it's very easy to fool people into thinking you're a medium. I think it's very easy to trick people who are vulnerable, which I think is dumb and stupid. So it took a lot for me to be convinced that this woman was connecting with my brother. And I will just say that, like, this event that I was at, you don't sign up for, you don't give any of your information. It is a walk through the door and sit down. Did not have my name, my email, nothing about me. I've never met this woman in my life. She didn't know a thing about me. Wasn't even in the town that I'm from. I don't even know where this lady's from. She travels and does events. And she undeniably connected to it was weird. It was very weird. And especially the fact of, like, I don't believe that people cross over, like, as themselves. I believe in energy. So the fact, I can't explain it. But anyways, my brother was my best friend. And this lady told me that my brother was telling me that I needed to share his story and share my story. At the time, I didn't do any social media. This was before my near-death experience. This was before I had my spiritual awakening. This was before any of that. So I had no idea what that meant. Fast forward a year or two later, another tarot reader had told me that I meant to share my journey as I'm going through it. Like, as I'm creating social media, I meant to share my journey. So with that being said, I don't want to hold anything back. I want to be completely forthcoming with everybody. I want to share my life because I think that it's important to be completely authentic. And, you know, I've exposed a lot of my life on the internet already, so I don't think that I have anything to hold back. So today I want to talk to you about putting in my notice at my job that I've been at for 10 years. So when I started this job, I had just turned 18. As of yesterday, I'm 28. So yeah, it's been 10 years. Actually, it'll be 10 years if I were to stay till December. Today it's October 15th. So yeah, I've been there for forever. Besides the owner's daughter, I am the longest running server that they have. I have lived so many lives through this restaurant. I have, like, gone through so many things. I have been so many different versions of myself, right? I have been, like, the party girl. I have been a CNA. I have been the broke single mom. I have been homeless. I have been, you know, all of the things. I have really, really gone through a lot. And my life has changed in so many ways, and I've gone through a lot of really difficult things, a lot of which are my own fault. I'm not denying that. But I think through everything that I've gone through, the one thing that I've always had that has never failed me was this job. I've never had to question this job. I have had flaky parents. My parents have never been consistent in my life. I have gone through, like I said, my brother passed away. So, like, I've gone through grief, losing people. I have gone through, like I said, not having a stable place to live. I have gone through pregnancies. I have gone through school and college and not being able to pay my bills and not knowing where my food was going to come from and not knowing, I've gone through like really bad relationships. I've gone through a near-death experience. I've gone through so many things that were I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what the future held. I didn't know. Everything was unknown, but what I always knew is that I would never lose my job. My boss would never fire me. I knew that. There was nothing I could do that would make him fire me. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that I had a job / have a job. And I know, like, if I were to want to go back, he would always take me back. Like, when you're somewhere for 10 years, like, that's family at that point, right? And I'm so grateful. And I have obviously a lot of memories, and like my best friend is like my manager there, and like she's been like an aunt to my kids, and like I've gone through so much there, right? But I've done all the growing that I can do. I'm not, and I say this with love, I'm not respected the way that somebody who worked somewhere for 10 years should be. I work really, really hard. The first 6 years that I worked there, I missed out on so much of my kids' lives because I was working like doubles all weekend, and I was closing the bar all the time, and like I missed out on so much. And I'm grateful that like they got to be close with their grandparents because I was always working. But I was dedicating my life to this job, and like then the last few years they would bring in people to be managers and have me train them. But it's just other things too. Like, they would put me with less strong people, but like they knew that I was on, so things would get done or whatever. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm complaining. I am grateful. They did see that I was a hard worker, and I know that. And I don't doubt that they appreciated my work, but I could only grow so much there. There was no more growing for me to do. So the last few years, like, I've just been idle there. There's nothing else I can do, and I'm not doing anything else. I'm not going to become anything greater there. And then if you've ever worked in service industry, there can be a lot of toxicity and drama and negativity in the service industry. And that's just not where I'm at in my life. And furthermore, it's also a bar. Now, I don't have a problem with alcohol. I willingly just stopped drinking when my ex started getting really bad with drinking. Honestly, I was repulsed by how bad he was drinking, so I just wanted nothing to do with it. I wanted my kids to have a completely sober parent, and now I just don't. I have no problem being around it. But the fact is that's just not where I'm at. That's not in alignment with my life, and yet I work at a bar. So nothing about the place resonates with me anymore. I'm not like super close friends with anybody that's there anymore. I used to have all my best friends working with me, and now like that isn't a thing. And now I have all of these things that I'm working on with coaching and YouTube and TikTok and my course, and now I'm starting a group on school, which I haven't even announced yet, but I'm doing all of these things which take a lot of energy. And when you're working somewhere all day that drains your energy like that, because when you're in an environment that's like that, you can put up your energy walls all you want to, but like it does drain you. And while I do a really good job of leaving the energy there, it still is exhausting. So then when I come home, it's like very difficult for me, on top of having 4 kids, mind you, it's very difficult for me to have the energy to continue going, to do what I want to do with my career and like work on my career. So I've been the last few weeks like really thinking about what I want to do. And this year too, like it didn't help that we had a group, every year we get J1s, and the first few years, like I loved, if you don't know what J1s are, it's a foreign exchange student program. So like for the summer, like another kids from another country will come, like college kids, to work. And every year, like, I love them. There's usually a group of, like, my favorites. But this year, like, a lot of them were really mean, like, cliquey and, like, not very nice. I mean, some of them were nice, don't get me wrong, but, like, a lot of them just, like, as servers would not seat the rest of us and would only seat their tables. One day that, like, a bunch of them, I had told the story on my YouTube, but, like, a lot of them would just gang up on me, and, like, this is one time, like, they all ganged up on me and, like, accused me of, like, making more than them because my boss gave me a bigger section. Because, again, I worked there for 10 years. I'm just one of the strongest servers. And, like, they were just, like, very cliquey and not nice. And it's just, like, that doesn't make me want to stay when it's, like, people like that and nothing really got ever done about it. He just, like, lets it happen so that, you know, there's no issues. And it's, like, I've worked there for 10 years. Like, I would like some, you know, I would like some respect. So I really thought about it and, like, my self-worth. And, like, when I was thinking about it, I had given up so much of my old life. So to kind of glaze over it, and I'm sure I'll talk more about it, but, like, I left my abusive relationship. I left that house. I no longer speak with my mom. Don't have a relationship with my dad. Never really did, but a lot of my friends I don't have anymore. So, like, everything from my old life is gone. Old mentalities, old habits, like, everything from my old life is gone. The last piece was this job. And when I thought about it that way, it all clicked for me, and I was like, I have to leave. Like, I've outgrown it, and, like, this is the last thing holding me on from really taking off in my career and really truly being happy and, like, doing what I want to do. And when I thought about that and really envisioned in my mind, like, how I would give my 2 weeks notice and, like, what I would say and how I would do it, because, mind you, I still have 4 kids. I still have bills to pay. Like, my career hasn't, like, my coaching career doesn't make me money yet. Of course, that's the goal, but right now it doesn't. So I was like, I still need to be able to pay my bills. So I spent a day, after a really bad shift, I spent a day just envisioning how I would tell my boss that I'm leaving. Because after 10 years, that's really difficult. And then the next day, after I spent the day thinking about that, like, picturing it in my mind, I got a call from my absolute favorite restaurant in my city that is the only one like this, too. There's not another one that's like this, so I go there all the time, but it's, like, organic food, the only juicery that we have, like, fresh pressed juice, and, like, smoothies and coffees and stuff, and they offered me a part-time job. So less hours, so, like, I still have, I'm gaining a day to work on my stuff, so I'll have a whole day to do filming and editing and stuff like that, and still make money in order to pay my bills. And actually, they're paying me significantly more than my old boss was. So that was just, like, a sign from the universe. And when I went there to talk to the woman who offered me the job, like, I talked to her on the phone, and then I went in that day to, like, get a tour and fill out the, like, actual application. And they, for our domestic violence, because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, they're running a special raising donations for the domestic violence agency that I worked with for the past year and a half. So for me, that was just such confirmation of, like, duh, like, this is such a sign, like, you have to do it. So, of course, it's not easy to let go of something that you've had for 10 years that has provided you safety and security. Of course, like, that's something that I know like the back of my hand. That place, I know everything. Everything. I can do every job there. I can bartend, serve, expo, host. Like, I can do all of it. Like, nothing is unknown to me. I know everything on that menu, front and back. I know everything. I'm so comfortable there. This new place, everything is brand new to me. There's an espresso machine that's, like, several $1,000s that I'm terrified to touch, right? There's a huge juicer. There's, like, I don't, everything is brand new. It's all different. And I'm so excited, but it's, it's a big change, and I'm very excited. I'm grateful. And it's just showing that, like, when you fully let go, and I'm excited to look back at this video too, because I know when I finally let go of this last piece and truly say goodbye to my old life, my new life is gonna fully come in. This was the last piece that I had to let go of, and I was scared. I talk online about how you have to really embody the person you want to be, and I do to an extent. But that was the one piece that I was afraid to let go of, and I'm so proud to say that I did finally let go of it. Putting in my notice was a lot less scary than I made it out to be. I thought about it all day, and I was so scared all day, and then I did it, and it was like 2 seconds, and he was just like, okay, well, let us know when your last day is going to be. And I was like, okay, that was so much easier than I thought. But, you hang on to these things that make you feel safe. And the beauty of the unknown is that is where all of the amazing things happen. If you stay in safety forever, then you can't have all of the amazing things that the universe has in store for you. All of these things that you want to manifest, all of these abundant miracles that are meant for you are in the unknown. It's all about trusting the universe that whatever is out there, whatever is meant for you, is going to find you. But you have to trust in those intuitive steps that you're getting. So like when I had that gut feeling like, okay, I need to quit my job. My job of 10 years, I'm getting that gut feeling that it's time to go. I needed to follow that. I needed to trust my intuition. And I've had like calls before to quit, but I never had the balls to do it. I never had, like I was always scared of like, how am I going to pay my bills? Nowhere else is going to work around my schedule. Nowhere else is going to like, whatever. I don't have seniority anywhere else to make my own schedule in XYZ. But wherever, when you jump, the universe will always provide a net. 100% of the time. Whatever's meant for you will find you no matter what. But you can't be afraid. And if you're scared, do it scared. At least you're doing it. That's why so many people stay in the same place forever, is because they're afraid and they're ignoring their intuition. But all of these people who have achieved amazing things, they were scared at some point. But they knew that the amazing things that were out there lied in the unknown. So you have to do it scared. There's nothing that's going to change in what you've been doing forever. Nothing for me was going to change staying in the same job that I've been in for 10 years. Doing the same thing I've been doing for 10 years. And I will say, like, I went to nursing school and then I worked 2 jobs. I was a server and a CNA, but it didn't work out. I ended up right back in. I got sucked right back into full-time, almost full-time. It was like 36 hours or something. But nothing that's, there's nothing that's going to be different. No miracle is just going to come to you by doing the same thing every day. Nothing's going to change by you wishing for it. No manifestation is going to come true by, writing in a journal every day and doing no work behind it. Journaling is great, but what are you doing to back it up? What work are you putting in? I think another part of it too is I felt a certain sense of like owing myself to this job because I've been there for so long and they're short staffed. I felt like I had to stay. I had to help them. But in reality, like, I don't really owe anybody anything. I owe myself the love and respect to do what's best for me. And I think they know that. I'm 28 now. I cannot spend my whole life in the same box that I've always been in. And I'm meant for so much more. So keeping myself stuck there forever would just do absolutely nothing but hold me back from what's truly meant for me. And I think another part of it too is the more I time I spent on like healing these wounds, healing these inner wounds, these, self-esteem and inner child and all of these other wounds I had, the more I gained love and respect for myself, and the more that I was able to prioritize myself, the more I was willing to really truly consider leaving. Because all of these years I would go on these like streaks of I'm gonna quit, I'm gonna leave, I don't want to work here anymore. But again, I never truly did. I never had the self-respect, I never had the courage, I never had the love for myself, never thought I deserved more deep down, like I didn't feel worthy of more. But somewhere inside of me, I always knew I was meant for more. And now I'm finally taking the time to focus on my career and what's out there and what's meant for me. And I'm so excited, and it's going to open up so many doors for what I'm able to do. It's going to give me so much more time to do all of these things, and I'm so excited. And it's all things I wouldn't be able to do if I was still stuck working at a place that was keeping me small, was keeping me in the same routine every day, not changing anything, waiting for something to change that never would, waiting to be acknowledged for my hard work. Like, girl, after 10 years, you really think that they're going to change something now? Absolutely not. You're wasting your life, a decade of my life. So here's to a new era of my life. I am so excited. I'm so truly pumped to just like see what's next, This is no shade to my job. I've had a lot of great times working there. There was a lot of really fun times, but I'm ready to move on, ready to start this next chapter, ready to see what I can truly do, because I have a feeling that life is going to get really good. And let this be encouragement for you that if there's something that you've been feeling called to do, whether that be quit your job or leave a relationship or, do something, like try out for an audition or whatever it may be, do it. Because life is short. You don't know when your last day is going to be, so why are you wasting it doing the same thing every day? I hope this resonated with you today. If it did, I would love to know. Please let me know. If you're on YouTube, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, message me on Instagram, TikTok. My username is the same everywhere. It's at Kinsey Rose. I would love to hear from you. Also, subscribe, follow, do all of the fun things. Let me know what you want to hear about next week. Other than that, I will see you next time. Bye.